Our panel called the audiovisual industry and the tech-creative conversion, one of the main topics I think nowadays. And you have four marvelous experts that are going to share with you their experience. This panel is hosted by SETT, but who is SETT, will you ask? It's the Spanish Society for Technological Transformation, which belongs to the Spanish Transformation Digital Ministry. And as you can imagine, a digital and technological public entity must be here at ISE, and it's our pleasure to share with you this hour. I'm sure that it's going to be thrilling. So again, welcome everyone. And thank you very much, Pilar, José Luis, Daniel, it was written David, Daniel, and Belén, for joining us and for kindly sharing your experience with us today at ISE. So to begin with, I would like to ask you briefly about who you are, your experience, your background, so you can yourself introduce to our audience. So we can start with you.
Okay, my name is José Luis Navarro. Everybody just call me Lito, just in case someone say Lito. My background is probably what I always like. It was to know how technology worked, and I wanted to know how to build the things that I see that I like, and from there I've been working in many different companies. I've been working in Disney, in Fox, in Real Madrid, not only in Spain but also outside Spain. And I finally started a company called Media Studio that let us do immersive experiences for 10 years. And today I'm in another company because that company just finished. And now I'm working as a business developer in DeuSens, that they do the same. They do immersive experiences. So it's more or less my really quick resume of my profile.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pilar. I'm a CEO of True Story. And I started my career back in 1999. I came back from the United States where I got my business administration degree, and with one idea in mind, which was to work in the internet and digital business. So for 3 years I worked in the digital business, working for different digital agencies, and that always has marked my career because all things technology and innovation is something that I always liked and enjoyed. After the dot-com bubble burst, I started to work in creativity. So I worked for 20 years in marketing agencies and creative agencies, always in the client and strategy side of the business, specializing in experience marketing, sports marketing, content creation. At the end of 2020, I left McCann World Group, which I worked there for 11 years, with 3 ideas in mind. I wanted to develop my own creativity. I wanted to tell stories and create content, and also I want to be my own boss. So I started True Story with Álvaro de Cózar, which is one of the best storytellers that there exist in Spain, at least for me. So True Story is a production company. We work in 2 directions. We work creating our own stories, and also we work with brands in all about brand entertainment. We've started especially working in podcasting and audio formats. We created titles like, I don't know, Los Papeles, Mister en la Moraleja. I don't know if you know, if you've heard about them. And also I've just launched last October a documentary called La Última Llamada for Movistar Plus. So we've been working in podcasts, audiovisual, different formats, and Also, we are developing a lot our brand entertainment service, which has been like very busy and growing a lot lately. So we've been very busy lately. So.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm sorry for my English for all because I don't speak English all the day, so I have that problem. My company, well, I have two companies. My main company is Gammera Nest. I work developing all the stages of to make video games. Okay, it's all the stage because we publish the video games that we made. And we work with licenses of TV and cinema. My background comes from the cinema world. I work in a distributor called Aurum that is disappeared now. And when I begin to think in the world of the video games, I always try to make an industry similar to the audiovisual industry for the video games. Right now, we are working, as I said, with licenses like Tadeo Jones or a lot of museums and cultural video games for patrimonial, okay? And we are creating right now a publishing company at the similar to the ones that is in the audiovisual world for the cinema, because the world of the cinema is very similar to the video games world, but the problem is the video games world is not created too. So I am working in it.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Belén. And well, I would define myself as an immersive storyteller, I would say. My field of work is everything that has to do with immersive stories, interactive stories, transmedia storytelling, and always with a hint of performing arts or the physical component. My background is in theater, so we always try to create projects where we find a hybrid between the digital and the physical. Recent projects we've been working on are the Black Stage, a project in which we turned the audience, the participants, into the players of a video game in the real world, combining augmented reality glasses, physical actors, sensors, and immersive sets. And another project I've been working recently is with the IP of Mafalda, the comic strip. I've been designing the experience for this global show that is going to be released next year, and it's going to be an itinerant show where participants will be able to immerse themselves into the universe of Mafalda with different participation layers.
So,
I like a lot.
Yeah? Is there... Are you listening? No.
No.
Please, are you yeah? Now the volume is okay? Because I don't hear myself with all the noise, but okay. So what a luxury of panelists we have. And video games, podcast, fiction, immersiveness, we are talking about the differences forms that audiovisual storytelling can take, as well as technological change and shifts in consumption patterns. I would like to start precisely with what is the soul of our industry, the storytelling. In this regard, I would like to ask you, is story development the starting point? So is the story the starting point? Or has technology begun to dedicate how story is developed? So just any you can start.
Always I want to tell stories. I'm a narrator in the beginning. So when we begin to think in video games, any video game, even when it's a license too, we begin with the narrative, with the story, with the what we can to tell to the audience. So I like to tell stories, so I write almost of my video games are writing for me, and because I like to tell stories in narration, classical narration, audiovisual with video or cinema, and of course, I like to tell in the interactive narrative with video games. So I believe that yes, the very center, the very core of our work is the narrative and the story that we want to tell to the public.
I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to agree with that, but with a twist a little bit, because I mean, for me, the story is the soul of everything. But I always like, when I start a project, I always force myself to start thinking participation first. So I start thinking, what do I want the audience to do, to explore, what are the action verbs that I want the audience to go through? Because sometimes when we start with the story forces a type of participation and doesn't allow a varied type of participation. So I try to force myself to think first of participation and then try to see how the story fits the participation options that we want to generate, because with the action and what participation options you're given, you're going to elicit some emotions on the audience, and I think that always the story is the most flexible bit that you can adapt better. So that's why I think that thinking of participation first helps me to create more varied projects, I would say.
For us, we always choose a story over format. We always say that we are format agnostic. So we choose the format that is going to help us tell the story best. So because we believe that the story, we all believe that the story is what sets an emotion in the audience, and is the only thing that you can relate to it, and you can get excited about it, and then you're ready to share the story. You're going to participate in the story, form a community around the story. So for us, it's always a story, and always, and also the story with a conflict. There is no story without a conflict. So for us, it's key to find the things that, in the hero's journey, what is making the hero not to get into the final objective. So, and this is something like, it's very hard to find sometimes when we are creating stories with brands, because usually in brand entertainment, brands are like very afraid to find their conflict. But it's key for brands to connect with audiences if they put the story in the center and also the conflict in the center. So
I agree in all the way you express the story as the main actor, but I think I'm more in the line of Belén in terms of today technology has changed the rules of the final product. Technology is telling us we can build a story and we can build a purpose of something that is related with putting also the user or the final audience to do something with the story. So that change, when it's not linear, you change the way you build or you create things. So in the case of having a purpose or having a main story that is absolutely needed, you need to have a story always, but you have to think about how is it going to be told or how is it going to be experienced. Now we talk more about experiences than about, I don't know, a movie or a theater experience. It's more an experience, and all that together is telling us to be aware that always technology at last, and an important thing at last means that technology needs to fix what we need to say and to do. It's not and so I agree, but from our point of view is all those steps.
Okay, thank you very much. And by the way, I didn't say it before, but after this panel, you are invited to a cocktail in front of us. So please come along. And now I'm going to start with a round of questions for each of you, okay? More depending on your singular activity. So the first one is for you, José Luis. In a field such as extended reality, do you listen well to me? Yep. Okay. It seems clear that technology defines how a story can be produced. Which formats or applications are seeing the greatest acceptance by the public?
Today, extended reality is, we are building more things related with simulation, with the capability of simulating things that are not there yet. Extended reality is also a very good technology to be able to amplify and reality, to give, to create spaces to be more productive or to do things that cannot be done in real life. In our case, for example, we're building right now a training session for firefighters for AENA, and you need to be inside the plane, and the plane must be exactly the same plane that they are going to be working on, and all those experiences need to be there. So training is one of them. You've seen through the event, there's a lot of places called LBE, local based entertainment, spaces that multi-users can go inside with these kind of HMTs and have an experience. That's entertainment, but not also entertainment, is also a capability of doing a lot of healthcare and training sessions for many things. So training, entertainment, and one that is being very used in extended reality is tourism. Tourism is one of the ones, because you are doing things of heritage, like he said before, and things that have to do with being able to go back in history and live things that you cannot just draw because there's no pictures, that you can live there or have the experience to be a Roman or be in Rome in another centuries. So tourism, entertainment, another kind of entertainment, and simulation and probably training are the three main activities that we are covering, and all of them need to have a story.
Yeah.
All of them.
Always, it's the heart. Okay, Belén. In a field such as extended reality, it seems clear that technology defines how a story can be produced. Yep. Which formats or applications are seeing the greatest... sorry. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit... After 4 days here, I start to cross lines and everything. I'm sorry. Even saying, based on your experience, how should the different technological and human elements be organized to address transmedia proposal? And what should the planning be based on?
Well, Hey.
Yeah,
Hello.
the sound, please.
Yeah. For my projects, I'm in love with design thinking in general. I'm in love with design thinking as a methodology, as an approach to create projects, and to always never forget the audience, and put the audience in the center of what you're designing. So the way we work is, first we try to understand who we're talking to. We try to understand the target audience, and then even if we've done processes like design thinking processes like safaris, in which we go where the audience is, we look at them, we interview them, we ask experts about them. So we are trying to really tailor the projects and the experiences that we're creating for a specific audience. And then after that, with that idea of participation first, we design a process that is going to become a prototype. I'm a big fan of prototypes too, especially because we use technology in our experiences. So we think that prototyping is key to understanding if a technology is going to work or not. In fact, in one of our projects, we were going to use, it was an immersive experience, we were going to use binaural sound for the audience members. They were going to wear some headphones, and those headphones would have like a head tracker, because we wanted to adapt the binaural sound to the movement of the audience members in the space. But well, we did a quick and dirty prototype, and we found out that idea didn't really work, or it was not delivering the experience that we wanted. It was not enhancing the experience. So we decided to remove the head trackers, which were going to be really expensive, and they were not really adding value to the audience experience. So it really makes a lot of sense to prototype early, even if it's not only technology bits, but also participation dynamics that you want to test, or even storylets that you want to see the reaction from the audience. So once you gather all that information, is that when we start building what the final experience is going to be. So that is the way we approach the combination of tech and human to deliver a final product, which we've kind of tested before it goes live.
Okay, thank you. So Pilar, now I go with you. True Story has committed to podcast storytelling, and you even have awarded winning formats recognized at the Ondas Awards. Congratulations. Podcasts have experienced significant growth in recent years with a very broad, high-quality topics, offerings such as yours. So why podcast? Is it a decision driven by technology and distribution, or narrative, or is it a narrative choice?
Well, I think that we live in the attentions economy, and to be able to connect with audiences is even, it's getting harder and harder. So as creators in podcasting, we no longer compete only with other podcast creators, but we compete with TikTok or influencers, Netflix, video games. So it's to be able to speak to whisper into the ear of your audience. It's amazing, and it's super powerful. I think that podcasts are like a very elegant and respectful format, because you can always be listening to your podcast while you drive, or just go to a gym and work out, or just walk to work. So it's very respectful, I think, and also it creates a sense of intimacy with the audience that is, I think, is unbeatable compared to other formats. For us also, as I said before, the narrative and the stories comes first. But in this case also, sometimes we've done podcasts like El País de los Demonios or Misterio de la Moraleja, that they could never be audiovisual, because you can't, there's a sense of, as I said before, intimacy and privacy that you get during your interviews that it's impossible to get in front of a camera. So in this, in some cases we choose the format because it's going to be easier for us to tell the story. No?
So you were behind El País de los Demonios?
Yes, indeed.
Because I loved that one. I was told by Coldo Zazua.
Sí.
I know him very well,
Sí.
and actually the adaptation into a TV series was made.
No, not yet. We're
Not
working
yet.
on that. Yes,
Okay.
we're working on that. Yes, Coldo is one of our partners.
Yeah, he's the producer, the audiovisual.
Yes. So we're working together in a project related to El País de los Demonios. So I hope we can tell things soon. So
Okay.
yes.
You are kind of my hero then. Okay, Daniel. Video games have gained increasing prominence in the audiovisual industry. On the one hand, has a digital entertainment, and on the other hand, has elements integrated into more traditional audiovisual forms, so it's a mix. What does video gaming contribute in general terms to a film or television production?
So,
And please keep the mic close to the
Thank you very
mouth.
much. Well, I believe that video games are are born right now in terms of narrative. It's sad because video games have 50 years old, but in the first years, we was working with the audience, with the narrative, with the mechanics, but never thinks in to integrate in the other audiovisual art, because video games were an appendix of the TV. They made the TV interactive, and they were saying like toys. What's the problem? Right now, we think that video games is an audiovisual art like the other one, and they can convive with the others, looking for a narrative that is mixed between the cinema or the TV and other audiovisual like podcast or only audio narrative, because video games can to englobe, to share with them all kinds of narratives. So we believe that we have a hard work in front, because we need to position the video games in the same level, and right now our industry is growing up, so we need to learn of the other of the TV or the narrative in the cinema to make the video games more perhaps more elevated, or to reach to other audience more seriously, perhaps.
Okay, thank you. So now we move again to a question for all of you, okay? You already remarked on this topic, Belén, but I would like to revisit the question of whether in an audiovisual production, whether a film or a series, a fiction or non-fiction, the production design takes into account from the outset the incorporation of technology, production methods, narrative expansions, etc., or whether these are more often derivated and secondary elements added later on. It would be interesting for you to share your experience from this topic. I don't know if it's clear. Yeah. Okay,
So
repeat the question? Yeah? No. It's for everyone. I mean, it's for all of you. It's about the production phase.
Well, hello. I can think that when I think back in the early transmedia days, like 13, 14, 15 years ago, I think there was a big key concept on how to approach the story early on the script or of the movie or the series, so you can intervene and add the participation mechanics, the other channels, and all the interactive elements that you were going to add as a native transmedia experience, because the problem always had been that the script was created as a traditional linear script, and then other interactions or transmedia elements were added on top, so they kind of never felt truly native or properly organic. So I think that with years, it's come up more and more clear that the importance of the audience participation and the dynamics with social media, you can see it like how the audience has the power to choose, and they are aware of their power, and they are also influencing what gets produced. So I think that more and more the scripts are taking into account all these layers of participation, so the audiovisual productions are taking into account all the interactive elements and channels much more necessarily.
So, I mean, just to make sure the question is clear, it would be about the production phase, the production design. Just, I mean, well, I'm going to to read you about the what I mean, in a audiovisual production, whether a film or a series, a fiction or non-fiction, okay, the production design takes into account from the outset the incorporation of technology, production methods, narrative expansions, and so on. Or whether these are more often derivated and secondary elements added later. I mean, from this perspective, that it would be good to know your experience. So maybe in your experience, when technology is incorporated to expand the narrative, does it increase or reduce production costs? It's about the phase of the production. No, it's not about the storytelling.
For us, I think that in podcasts there is a challenge around technology because it is not very developed. I think we've, for example, in terms of data information or audience measurements, there's lots of limits, around that. So I don't think podcasting is like a hugely developed technology around that, and I haven't seen new developments around that. So I think there's a lot of things that has to be done in terms of technology. For us, we have incorporated all the AI technology and tools into narrative development, into pitching, for example. For us, to go and sell a project, for us is now easier thanks to the technology. And also, of course, for example, we have this podcast, which is Hechos Reales, that each episode is ¿cómo se dice en inglés? Autoconclusivo.
Self-conclusion. No,
I don't know if that's the word. I don't know the word in English. Sorry, but it's an IP by itself, And so we have been transforming these audio episodes into video podcasts, thanks to AI, and of course thanks to a talented designer who's helping or using the AI to develop this video podcast version of our podcast. So I think that we are using it at the beginning. First in the production design, but also we are adding new developments when we need, like for example, what I'm saying, that using AI to create new versions of our, new formats for our podcast.
Yeah.
My point of view is we need to understand that all that what we call traditional media has been there for a long time. And human usually learns by experiencing things in long terms and looking what others done and the fails that they had in themselves and the others. And the printed media, video and cinema and theaters have been developed in long term. So there's been an industry around it that is being settled, and that is easier to go through. Today, we are going so fast in so many things that it doesn't fit very well the capabilities of taking decisions in production when you go from a podcast that is audio only, and then you have the chance because technology is there and you saw that it can be done, so you go through it, and it's better to go on prototype first and go through the production by what we call it. The way we say it is that we are just flying the plane while we are fixing it and building it, and that's why many times you forgot one little knot and the plane starts to go in another way. So in production terms, we are right now living all the creators. We are living on a innovation loop that you have to have methodology and you have to go through it and reduce the risk. The risk is going to be there always, but you need to reduce the risk. And innovation is risking, is trying to, okay, now we have the audio, let's put a video. Does it work? Does the audience take the risk? And is it getting the way we want it? Okay, let's go, let's keep it on. But you need to test. And that's, from my point of view, that's the point. It's not technology, it's that today we have technology in our hands, and we are, as creators, trying to do things always new, and that's my feeling.
Yeah.
I'm very close to them.
Yeah.
In the case of video games, well, we are innovating all the day and taking new ideas, but we feel that it's not changed so much. Perhaps the technology, yes, but we work in two terms, mechanics or narratives. And it was at the beginning of the video games, and it's now with all the technology around us, because we need to tell the story, or not to tell the story, with words or with mechanics. And that is all in the video games. Above all the technology, because the technology only helps sometimes, other times disturbs our path, but in general terms, it's not the innovation or problem, because we live in that. It's the how to use it to tell or that we want to tell.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting, all your points, with many things in common, of course. So now I'm going to do again an individual question for all of you. Okay, so José Luis, I start with you again, and devices. Devices are often mentioned as one of the barriers to entry in the world of extended reality. In this case, how are devices evolving?
Devices in terms of HMDs, in terms of head-mounted displays, and HMDs has been evolved a lot, but they stopped. There was a very good strategy from Meta, that it was from the Ray-Ban Meta, like you have, Belén. They started just to have some kind of cameras to capture images and videos, and from a simple and normal headset, they have the other ones that are the biggest ones that we are using in VR and XR. And there's been a huge development. In the last year, there's been like 3 new launches from Samsung and from HTC and from Meta and from other builders. But the smart glasses are getting in the middle of both worlds, being the solution to a more demanded device. But in our case, the HMDs, the glasses, are not only the device that we use. We use spatial computing. Spatial computing is cameras, is being able to be tracked as a human and move the hand and move everything that is around you. So spatial computing and extended reality is not only about the glasses, it's about many other kind of devices, IoT, all kinds of sensors. And when you converge all the solutions with a purpose, with a story, with something to tell, is when it makes sense. And it's evolving very fast, and they're getting cheaper. That's good. And more important for us as creators, the software and the SDKs, the software that you need to develop things inside, are easier, and the platforms are more, we go faster with those. So that could be a good resume of how devices and technologies.
Okay, thank you. Hey, just one question. The timing stopped a while ago, so I don't know how much time do we have left. 10 minutes, okay, because it stopped. Okay, so Daniel, In recent years, we have seen the rise of highly successful series based on video games such as Fallout, Arcane, or The Last of Us. It seems that the trend of adapting video games, especially into series but also films, will continue. So what, in your opinion, what do you think is driving this trend?
Wow. No, yes. In the last year, we are seeing like video games are used IPs for movies or for series of TV. Okay, but I believe that it's very interesting. Like they conceive the narrative in other media different than the or interactive media, but. It's curious that happened with the with Last of Us in the first season. A lot of people didn't know the video game or they didn't play the video game in the past, and they discovered the video game through the movies, and they have they surprise when they play and see other kind or to understand the narrative of the same characters. It's very interesting that convergence, and it's very interesting the challenge to work with the different audience with different narratives or different technologies to tell the narrative.
Okay, thanks. So Belén, your turn.
Yep.
The performing arts, which is the field you have focused on most recently, have traditionally been a laboratory for new narrative formulas and even for technological incorporation. So why is that? Is there less risk involved experimenting within this area of cultural industries? What do you think about?
I think it's because people who work in theater are like damaged goods. I don't know. We are a little bit crazy. I don't know. I tend to think that we like to be early adopters and try things. And normally, it's not only, I think it's not a matter of the format, it's a matter that, in general, there are lots of indie productions in performing arts that allow, obviously, a lot of risk. You don't have a lot to lose to make a mistake. It's not like a scalable super production of cinema that you have to make it right the first time, because there's a lot in the line there that you have to protect. So I think that's one of the reasons why we like to explore, and also because the audience is there, and you get like a very direct reaction. So it's very rich to get to try things with them, technology-wise, participation-wise. You get a very honest and real feedback, and I think that's why we like to experiment and explore. In the case of immersive theater, we've seen with the years that it's becoming a very powerful trend, because audiences are craving for something more, something that it's like an experience they are not going to forget. So adding layers to that and making sure that everything is geared so they feel the protagonist of the story that you're telling, that technology is what you put on top to make sure that they get that feeling. So everything is like the world is a canvas. Everything, technology or not technology, can be used with that purpose. So I think that's why we're always exploring ways of reaching that goal, I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we are about to end, because I want to leave like a few minutes to the audience in case they want to make you a question, because it's such an opportunity to have you here. So I'm going to open the micro. Is there any question you want to make? Take the opportunity. Do you mind if we, yeah, well, over, because we don't have more micros.
Hello, thank you very much for all the information you have given us. My question is about video games, but maybe it can extend to everything related. Only Pilar has talked a bit about the big elephant in the room, the AI. Do you think AI can pose a threat on storytellers? I mean, I love video games based on stories, role-play games, etc. I also love good series, but you're starting to talk about AI doing the low-value tasks, but some of you are also talking about letting the AI make decisions about the plot. Where do you think that may take us?
As I said before, I like to consider myself an early adopter. So every time that a new technology has come in, we've always explored how can we use this for our goal. So I like to see it as a tool. Obviously, you ask ChatGPT to tell a story now, and it's not a really groundbreaking story. It's going to become much better very, very soon. But I think it's going, if that's, it's going to set the standards. That's the standard of the story. We will always need to find a way to tell a different story, to find something that is more human, that finds the connection to other humans. So I'm not really worried, because we've always found a way to, I mean, I come from theater. I mean, that's in crisis, always in permanent crisis since the Greeks, and it has survived. So I think we all will be fine.
Well, from my point of view, I use a concept that I call the triangle. I put the imagination in the top of a triangle, and I said that imagination is the superpower of a human. And if I tell you to think about I don't know, a shoe right now, to design a shoe or a sneaker, each one of you is going to think about a different sneaker. Each one, unless I'm doing all the time this, and you are more or less, but you are going to think about, so imagination is going to be still always human. Cognitive knowledge and capabilities and calculations are going to be from the AI. We use AI for many things, and as Belén said, we are adopting those technologies to be faster. One of the things I found out is it gives me more speed of building ideas, so I can be much more productive. So if you adopt it in a positive way, it's going to be good. But again, the human part is there, at least in the creator mind.
I believe that we use to be faster too in all stages of the production of video games, but it's very important for us because we use in the first stage, in the writing of the storytelling or something, we believe that is like to have a big memory of all that is done. We use that to know that was before that our game, to take the other game, that the path of the other game that they did, and to make our own story. It's very useful to have a memory of all, and not like last in the past years that you have a Wikipedia or something like that. It's more immediately, more systematic, and it's a very helpful for us in order to begin the writing of the story. Then we have to write, because it's the imagination is not in the IA in these days.
Something to add?
No.
Okay. So then we finished. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming and sharing your experience. And as I said before, now we are going to host a cocktail just in front. So please, you are all welcome. And the good thing is, are you going to join us? So you can still making questions to them. And it's such an opportunity to have them and to have you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.